طيب السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه واتبع هداه وبعد. Welcome to the Ramadan program for our kids on the character building through the Quran. As always, we all love you guys and we hope that you enjoy your Ramadan. Let me start today's class with two questions. The first question is, did you notice that everything around you has a purpose? I want you to write down this word because it's important for our maybe 3 or 4 classes that are coming. So, did you notice that everything around you has a purpose? What is purpose? Purpose is the reason why something is made. So, another word in Arabic that you can add to your vocabulary is ghaya. So, what is the ghaya? What is the purpose of things? What is the purpose of the watch or the clock? Yes, true, it tells us the time. What about the car, the bus, the planes? Yes, transportation. It moves us from one place to another. What about the refrigerator? True, it keeps the food cold and fresh. What about the clothes? Correct. In summer, it protects you from the sunburn, and in the winter, it protects you from, or it keeps you warm. What about the masks? Speaking about the virus going on, why do people wear the masks? It's because they want to stop the spread of the virus or diseases. So everything around us basically has a purpose. But my next question is, why do we need to talk about the purpose of things? Why do we need to think about the purpose of things? At least there are 2 reasons. The first one is because if something does not serve its purpose, it would be basically useless, right? Something would be really useless if it does not serve its purpose. So we need to make sure that we understand the purpose of things. Another thing, something could be more valuable if it serves a greater purpose. So when there is a greater purpose, it becomes more valuable. I know this could be a little bit difficult, so let me explain that with an example. How much does sand on the seashores cost? Correct, it's absolutely free. But what if we use that sand for a specific purpose? Like we bag it for a specific purpose, or we use it for the sand timer as we talked about last time. Of course, in this way, because we assigned it a purpose and we have a purpose for it and clear purpose for it, it becomes more valuable, right? You could pay $10 for that sand that was free on the seashores. But when we assigned it a purpose, it became more valuable. What about heating up that sand in a way that helps us get the silicon dioxide that we use as the computer chips? And it is very, very important element in making your computer literally work. Of course, this big purpose makes that sand more and more valuable, and it becomes even more expensive. You could pay $400 for this kind of computer chips in some cases. So again, everything around us has a purpose, and when we assign something a purpose, that thing becomes more and more valuable. My question to you is, if everything around you has a purpose, what is your purpose? Why are we here? If everything around us is serving us, so whom are we serving? And this leads me to that big question that even adults would need. Why are we here? What is our ultimate and absolute and most important purpose on life? I mean, for our existence. And I'll introduce 3 major things, and then we'll talk about the first one of them. The biggest purpose for us is to know Allah. Okay, guys, to know Allah. When we know Allah, we love Allah. And when we love Allah, we worship Allah. Remember that order because it is important. So for us, we're here and Allah created everything around us to attract our attention to who's behind this. And this is a chance for us to get to know Allah. And when we know Allah, we love Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we love Him, we worship Him. And we'll talk about these three, inshallah, in the coming classes. But how do we know Allah? How do we love Allah? And how do we worship Allah? When you serve that purpose, your life becomes more meaningful and you become more valuable. And if we do not serve that purpose, we become almost useless, as we talked about. Now, how do we know Allah? This is a big question, but to answer it, let me tell you a story. There was a man, very, very intelligent and very smart man. His name is Abu Hanifa. This was a very smart scholar, very smart sheikh, and he lived in Baghdad. And at that time, Baghdad was the center of knowledge. Anyone who wants the greatest education in the whole world would go to Baghdad because this was at that time the center of knowledge. And one day, a man came to Abu Hanifa, and this man was very sad. And he was complaining that there are some people who do not believe in Allah, and they even say Allah is not there and Allah does not exist. So, are you willing to come and talk to them about this big problem? Abu Hanifa actually agreed, even though he was very busy teaching people, but he agreed, and they agreed on a time to meet those people. And then Abu Hanifa started fulfilling his promise, and he went out from his city to that place. But the problem was between him and those people, there was a river that he has to cross first in order to reach those people. So he was very late to that appointment. He showed up very late. Actually, 1 hour passed and he didn't show up. So people started laughing and they said, maybe he doesn't want to come because he's too scared to discuss this with us. And then another hour passed and he's still late. He still did not show up. So people started laughing again, thinking that he may be actually wrong and he does not know what to say about this. But they gave up and they were about to leave. But suddenly Abu Hanifa showed up. And he said, I am very sorry for being late, and let me explain to you what happened. And Abu Hanifa had a trick for them so that he would make this whole idea about Allah easy for them to understand without getting into more debates. So Abu Hanifa said to them, you understand that between my city and your city, there is that river that I have to cross, and I understand that. But when I went to that river, to the bank of the river, I didn't see any boats at all for 1 hour. That's why I was very late. But something strange attracted my attention. Abu Hanifa explained. He said, while I was waiting for a boat and there's no sign of any boats or no sailors, no navigator, no one is there, I found out that in the middle of the river, there were some planks of wood flying and joining together in a miraculous way. And they had the same length. And some moments later, I saw some nails flying again, and they positioned themselves into the boat at the right place. And to make the boat more perfect, I saw some sealant that were sealing the gaps in the wood. But what shocked me more is that after this boat was formed in front of my eyes, I found out that it's actually floating beside me as if it is saying, come and get in. And he said, I know no one is there in that boat, no navigator, no sailor, no program that would make it go to the other bank of the river. He said, but I had no other choice but to get in, and hopefully it will bring me there. So he said, I got in, and to my surprise, it brought me here at this time, but it suddenly disappeared. So people started even laughing more and more and more, and they said, is this the intelligent man you guys are talking about? How could these planks of wood fly and join together without a maker? Because this is, and how could these nails position themselves at the right place at the right time and to form this ship that has a purpose? And how could it move and bring you here without any system, without any program, without any navigator, without anyone taking care of that purpose that this boat is assigned for? This is absolutely ridiculous, and this is literally crazy, and this man must have gone crazy. So Abu Hanifa knew that this would be their answer. So he said, if you cannot believe that this boat made itself and it is running on its own without a designer, without a maker, how could you believe that this whole universe and this whole life and me and my brain and my eyes just came by accident, and there is no one governing everything, programming everything to does its purpose? And people understood the point and understood that this is an intelligent man, and he won that debate because they had no other answer. Because you know what? You can find a piece of iron in the middle of the desert, right? You could say, well, it came by accident, and this is not really, there's just some elements got together and they formed it. But what if you found that piece of iron and it has your name and it has your address and how tall you are and how old you are and some information about you and things that will happen to you? Of course, this can never be an accident. This must be information, and this information would need an intelligent being behind this information to tell about us. We are made of cells that has information that's actually called the DNA. But anyway, this information is what makes my brain the brain, what makes my eyes, what makes my hands serve its purpose, and so on. So we're actually information. There must be a designer, there must be someone running this whole universe and this whole world and all of the creatures it has. So this is an easy way of knowing Allah. Is just look around and look at yourself, and you will find out that this can never be by accident. There must be, because this whole creation, it requires something who has absolute knowledge, absolute power, absolute wisdom, life, and will, because without these qualities, nothing would come into being. Nothing would exist. So Abu Hanifa explained these concepts to them and these ideas in that simple story, and people stopped denying Allah and they said, there must be Allah. Not just there is Allah, but there must be Allah. In order to make sense of everything, there must be Allah. And let me conclude with another point. You know what happens if there is no Allah? If there is no Allah, that means everything are just atoms that has no meaning. So the atoms making my body is like the atoms making that wall, is like the atoms making this paper. It's like the atoms making the board, making the table. So what about this brain? This brain would mean it's just some atoms that has no purpose and it was not designed to think. But if it is designed to think, if you believe that you have a brain that is designed to think, this means that it must have a designer. And this designer must have knowledge, power, and will, and life, and this is what we call Allah. So if you feel that your brain is designed to think, but it does not have a designer, that is actually uh, uh, absolutely impossible to understand or to accept. That's why Allah gave us this way of understanding and this brain so that we can easily recognize Him and connect with Him. And next time, inshallah, we'll be talking about this. When we know who Allah is, we love Him. And when we love Him, we start worshiping Him. And worship here is basically, we'll talk about it more, but it would basically mean acknowledging who we are and who God is, to admit who we are and who God is. Now, I forgot to talk about my favorite part. My favorite part is the ayah. But remember this because we'll use it also next time. So our major purpose in life, so that we become more valuable, so that we have meaning, is that our great purpose is to know Allah. And when we know, we love. And when we love, we worship. And let me introduce you to an ayah that only deals with this part. And next time we'll have a memory ayah about love and a memory ayah about worship. So what is the ayah I want to share with you? It's again part of an ayah that I want you to memorize in Arabic and in English. In Arabic it says, أفي الله شك فاطر السماوات والأرض. Maybe a little bit longer, but you can manage it, guys. فاطر السماوات والأرض. Okay, so أفي الله شك فاطر السماوات والأرض. Again, أفي الله شك. This is like a question. فاطر السماوات والأرض. And this means, how could there be any doubts about Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth? So let me write that down. How could there be any doubt about Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth? So this is the ayah I wanted to share with you guys. Again, أفي الله شك فاطر السماوات والأرض. How could there be any doubt about Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth? I hope you like the class, and inshallah, next time we'll talk about loving Allah, and the time after that, the other class will talk about worshiping Allah. I hope you liked it, and inshallah, we'll meet again. And again, we love you guys very much, and please enjoy your Ramadan. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.